Oh my god, I almost had a perfect intro. Welcome in everybody to episode 21 of Sundays with Sin. I do want to thank you guys for tuning on in. Today I have this lovely human being who has been I don't know if you know this or not, Gnome, but we have officially hit 1 year of knowing each other.
One official year today?
It's not today. Today's not the day. It was
Okay, okay,
a
okay.
few weeks ago. But it has been one official year since I was introduced to the cross country, to the MLB community, to all the guys. It's like it's been 1 year since we've all met each other, since I met you guys, since I came into the community. It has been
It's
one
wild.
fucking year.
It feels it I'm not gonna lie, it feels honestly a lot longer.
It
Like it feels like it's
does.
been like an absolute movie for the last like I know it's been
Yes.
a year, right? Like I know if you found like Craw's been full time for about like a year, maybe a little over it.
Yeah,
Um
it's been a little
but
over a year
like
because
yeah,
he went full time right before I came in, or right as I was coming in.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
wild.
it's insane. And Tubbsy hit his 1 year of streaming. I just hit my 1 year of streaming on the 14th of this month.
I'm gonna hit
Um,
my third year of streaming in February.
oh my god, dude, this is
Yeah.
insane
I'm
though.
old, so
It
that's the
it
main thing.
just hit me that I was like, holy shit. And like you said, it feels like it has definitely been longer than a year, but it's only at one point I'm like, oh my god, it's been a year, and the other part I'm like, holy shit, it's only been a year. Like it feels a lot. So everyone, welcome in. This is Gnomethorian. This is one of my dear friends here that I've met in the streaming community when I was over on the Purple app. Um, Gnome, go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Gnomethorian. Some people know me by Miles, my first name. I've been streaming for almost about 3 years. It'll be 3 years in February. I primarily stream MLB, the show content over on the Purple app, as we might call it here. Um, and yeah, no, I've been involved, heavily involved in the community of streaming on multiple platforms, and just overall the MLB community. Uh, yeah, I'm a full-time teacher. I teach 10th grade US history. Uh, and yeah, it's been an absolute journey for me, and every single day like I strive for to learn something new and to see my friends and the people around me succeed. And ultimately that's what makes me happiest in this community, is not necessarily my own personal success, but seeing the friends and the community develop as a whole and just grow as a whole from there. So
Yeah. So, let's just start with you made a comment about you've been on multiple different platforms. Whenever you first started streaming, what platform were you on?
So like when I first started live streaming, I first started on Twitch, but that's not where my content creation began. When I was about, I would say 13, 14 years old, I began making Black Ops 1 Call of Duty videos on YouTube,
Oh
a couple
goodness.
gameplays and commentaries on there. Um, really trying to model my gameplay and commentary off guys like T Martin and stuff as I was growing up. And I remember telling stories about when I flipped a desk in class and got suspended, and like me and my friend, we made this spoof about where he was telling us about the Cambodian lungworm that was an epidemic that was hitting Cambodia, but was just like kind of made up. We had him pretending he was a doctor, just stupid like middle school type things. But yeah, I started streaming MLB 20 kind of towards the end of the cycle over on Twitch or the Purple app, and since then I kind of evolved. I've originally just started streaming just every now and then. I started to get involved in the MLB The Show community and started watching other people and kind of learning. Then I got myself a desk and I got myself a monitor and started to progress my gameplay and who I was. And I started streaming more frequently and more regularly. Um, and it's going to be 3 years, I think February like 22nd.
My
So just
birthday
about a
is the
month from
20th.
today. So yeah, I think I
Yeah.
got partner on March like 4th or something. It was actually relatively quick. It was about a week
Really?
after. I have a story of how I got partner over there.
Okay.
Um, if you want it now, or I can
Yeah,
give it
go
later.
ahead. We're already
All
talking
right, so I
about it. Just
started
give it to
streaming.
us.
It was probably maybe my second ever stream. I was playing Fortnite with some friends, and I got a raid of like 46. Okay, so anyway, everyone who comes in this raid, oh, and hold on. Actually, let me refresh. It wasn't a raid. My viewer count went from like 4 to like 46. And all these
Okay.
people came in and they're like, "Oh, we've been waiting for you to go live." Like, Jiggy sent us like all these things, like just going off about this. And I'm with Scott or Doctor Arcrefresh, and I'm with my friend Jared or Speechless, and we're like, "Dude, who is this?" So they're all typing in chat trying to figure out who Jiggy is. Nobody can give us like a username on this person. Like, "Oh, Jiggy sent us. He said you'd be going live today." I was like, "Who is this person?" I have no idea. Got a bunch of followers. I got up to like 59 followers on like my second stream. I maybe had 5 or 6 before. And then obviously it was just like time and like average viewers, but that stream obviously bumped my average viewers way up. Come to find out, like 2, 3 weeks later, I'm at like 128 followers. I'm a partner, and then I look on my
Wait,
follower list. I'm
affiliate
down
or
to like
partner?
affiliate. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
forgetting. And I look at my follower list. I'm at 28 followers. It's like, wait, like what? It was really confusing. And then I got a message from Twitch saying like, um, it seems like your follower counts dropped below, and like so they wanted me to contact them. I was like, yeah, I got like this raid, and I got this follow, and they're like, all right, well, you need to get your follower count back up to 50, which I was able to do within like a week. They said they gave me like a week to do it, otherwise I'd like lose the uh the affiliate.
Affiliation.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it must have been like a bot raid. But they were typing. It was a very odd thing. I ended up trying to follow the guy who was like leading the charge. It was some weird dude in Oklahoma who like I don't know. He streamed like some Call of Duty videos, but like his setup was janky and all that. So I don't know. But
Oh
that's how
my
I became
god.
affiliate over there, and that's how it all began.
That's too funny. I actually became I wouldn't call myself a victim of a bot raid, but we did do it was 2 podcast episodes ago when I interviewed Andrew, who is one of the higher ups in the Kick staff, oversees like all the partners on the platform. Um he's really hands on with all the streamers. And I had the pleasure of interviewing him like on the podcast and stuff. We connected in Atlanta. And at one point, it's actually my opening clip for my starting screen. Um, but at one point, I went ahead and uh, all these like comments started coming in. All these comments started coming in. It was like spam all over. There was like my unique chatters just hit over 300 like prior to this podcast. Like we were maybe around 400, maybe. And by the end of that stream, I looked at my stats because we had some viewers too, and I was trying to see if I could push for partnership, yeah, or verification. And I saw my unique chatters. We had 1,000 fucking bots come in during that stream. So somebody took time out of their day and money out of their wallet to bot my channel because I was featured on the front page. That's what's been happening lately. Somebody or a group of somebodies are going around and they are botting, they're targeting like kick partners, they're targeting pick like a part of the first class or the phases or anybody on front page that has an like more than like 60 plus viewers, and they are like purposely botting their account for some reason, and that's been happening over the last few weeks. Okay, so I
Yeah, I
made
mean,
I made a joke. I was like, oh shit guys, I made it, I got botted.
yeah, I mean, I've had some of those like bot raids, but like they're more just like follows. Like I'll get like 60 follows in like
Yeah.
2 seconds, and like part of it's like it doesn't really like hurt me as like a content creator. It's kind of annoying. There's
Mm-hmm.
differences when like people come in with these like hate kind of raids where they like follow you with like a bunch of like hurtful names or something like I'm glad you're, like so and so is, all these different types of
Yeah,
things. I've
yeah, I know
seen it
what you're
happen to a
talking
bunch of
about.
people. Those are usually more individuals who are making multiple accounts. But part of the issue with like those like follower raids or even if it's a viewer raid, is it kind of inflates your numbers to a point where like you don't actually know what your success is or what your numbers are looking like. Um,
Yeah.
I think as content creators, we all look at the numbers, whether people say like, oh, I care about the numbers, I don't care about the numbers. We all look at numbers. And if you say otherwise, I think you're just lying to yourself and your community. Whether those numbers drive you or motivate you is one thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to understand like where your viewership's coming from, what people are enjoying about your content, why they're watching, how long they're watching, how you can adapt to make it more entertaining for your community in particular. So yeah, when you see, oh, this month I averaged like 16 viewers, but you had these couple of these like bot raids, it's like, all right, well, maybe this month wasn't the month where I was doing my best content creation. Let's try to adapt and
Mm-hmm.
change to make it fun.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the content creation too, we were just talking, prior to hitting the go live button, and I talked about this on our Wednesday episode with Pubsy. You started venturing into a new world in the streaming world. You started pushing out some different type of content, and this content is you taking two parts of your world, which is riding your bike and streaming, and you've combined them together. Tell me about that. Where were you at? Like, what made you like it all click and you're just like, dude, this is the content. Like, let's try this out. Like, where were you at with that?
Yeah, so I got a stationary bike trainer thing for my birthday, which was back in December. Joint gift from my mother and sister. And there's this app called Zwift, which basically allows you to track your data, like how much power you're putting out, kind of how fast you're traveling, but it allows you to ride on different maps around the world. So they're maps that have been driven by probably a car that no elevation, elevation gain, height, helps with resistance. The trainer adapts to whether you're going uphill, the resistance becomes more, downhill, it becomes less. But this Swift app allows it to look kind of like a game. And obviously, I stream on Twitch. I love streaming on Twitch, but during the week, it's tough to find the motivation to sit down after working all day at a school and play video games because I got other work to do, and I want to get in better shape. I played. I'll talk about this probably later, but I've played rugby for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to get back into shape to be able to play come next fall. Um, so in order to do that, I have to start exercising more. And it's cold in the winter here in Massachusetts, so it's hard to get outside.
Yeah.
Going to the gym is hit or miss for me. I struggle to find the motivation to work out by myself at the gym. I like going with friends. Again, when I used to play on teams, working out with the team was something I enjoyed doing. But going by myself, it's not really my vibe. Um, but I love biking. My legs are my power. That's where I make all my it's what I do. My legs are strong. They've always been strong.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's a big biker, so biking's been something I've done since I was very young. And distance biking is something that I like to do with him, going out on the roads and riding. So I started streaming this, and I told myself, I was like, if I can stream, I'm gonna be happy doing it. And as I've started to stream it, again, it's whether people watch or not is insignificant to me. It's more about giving me an opportunity to do something that I want to do while allowing me to stream, which is something that I love to do. And therefore, when I'm riding and when times get tough, I mean, streaming is what I'm doing, right? It's not really that I'm riding and that's making it difficult. So it motivates me to keep going. And I've met a lot of new people who are in on the
Yeah.
Zwift community over on the Purple app, and it's something new to me, and it's something I might consider dual streaming as well.
That would be pretty cool to have you here. I mean, you know that I'm always going to sit here and try to get I call you guys my Twitch boys.
Mhm.
I'm always going to try and get my Twitch boys on over here to test it out, see what we can do to help you guys. Because I personally have loved Kick. It's been it was like a really good move for me. But I would love to see you here on the Green app too.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That'd be
part
pretty
of
cool to
it
have.
also is if I do dual stream, I kind of feel like I'm getting repetitive viewership. The majority of the people who know me, they know me from Twitch, and so streaming on Kick, the people who are initially going to come watch are from Twitch, which is fine. There has to be that crossover at some point. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't want to. I've been trying to diversify my content, and as I progress with that, I'm thinking of diversifying certain aspects to one app or the other. Um, the dual streaming to me is something that for a long time wasn't allowed, and then recently was allowed with the rise
Yeah.
of other platforms. Um, but again, it's something I haven't really played around with too much. But those of who I do know do it. When I go into both their streams on both platforms, I start to see a lot of similar crossover in viewership.
Yeah, that's the
And I
thing
think,
is that it's crossover and viewership. And also you will see one of them obviously is carrying more than the other.
mhm,
And for our mutual friends, a few of them they've had more viewership on Twitch, and it has been the ones that you do see on Kick. It is the same ones that are on Twitch. They're pulling up the tabs over there as well. And so I think a big thing that people lack when they're trying to get over on both platforms are like a I I'm not a fan of multi-stream. And I will get on that a bit here, but I think the big thing that people miss too is the opportunity to produce other content, like produce other content, push out videos, push out YouTube shorts. TikTok's algorithm's kind of fucked up. I'll be completely honest with
very
you.
much so.
I do social media marketing. I have a degree in that. I've been studying these social media platforms. TikTok was going very, very strong, and then the algorithm changed, and it did not change so much to help um really every creator. It was certain creators that it's been helping. Now it's just like a freaking a shop. It's like a Wish but with videos now. Um I think my issue with multi-streaming is that if you multi-stream, I feel that you are breaking up your community, right? And so they're split, and if your community is already really strong on one platform, why would they go to the other platform if they know that they can find you still on this platform? And I didn't like that idea. I like the idea of everybody being at one. When people go to look to see the podcast live, like today, for instance, they know I'm on Kick. They know if they want to see the recordings of it, I either have it on Kick in the VODs, I may have uploaded it to YouTube. The audio is always on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But as far as witnessing the live streaming of it, they know where to find me. They're not trying to guess like, oh, it's Tuesday. Is she on Kick or is she on Twitch? And then they're not trying to do it where um, you go ahead and you pull up the stream. It's like they have both of your tabs pulled up, but it's the same people. You're not getting any new people in there. And I like the idea of the multi-streaming. I think if done properly, it can bring a lot of traction. It can bring a lot of opportunities. Um, but unfortunately, I would say I don't see people doing it correctly. I don't see them maximizing all of their tools there to reap the benefits completely. I just don't see that. That hasn't really happened for anybody yet.
Yeah, I think it's difficult for a lot of people to have content that is, I guess, complex enough that two platforms are both going to benefit. Which is part of the reason why, like, if I do want to pursue streaming over here on Kick, I would also like to make unique content for it. Part of the dual stream part that I see as an issue, and you kind of just touched upon it, is it's also like repetitive content. It's not anything new that's benefiting one platform or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like with YouTube content, whether it's coming from a stream, it's going to be adapted content that's cut down, edited to make there's effects added to it to
Mm-hmm.
make it a YouTube video. When it's TikTok content, whether it's coming from a live stream, it's again there's effects added to make it a short or a TikTok type of thing. Um, that is different, right? It's still the same content in the end, but it is like unique to that platform. Whereas when you're live streaming, the content is what's happening live, and it's not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
super unique to it. So as I start to experiment, I mean I did get affiliate over here on Kick. And I gave my community the opportunity to kind of decide for me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time over here on Kick, but also something that we probably see with a lot of streamers is if they've streamed for a long time over on the other app, coming over here feels like a new beginning and like
Yeah.
it's a grind again. And for a lot of people who have spent, like for someone like me who spent 3 years over on one platform, to kind of start that grind all over again feels like a lot of work and something that I wish I don't really have the time to put into it to make it and like promote it as much.
Yeah.
Over the summer, I had some more time, so I made a push towards it. Um, but also, like, people have communities and like access to raids or people who open up Twitch when they open up their computer and they look on their list and then they don't even think, all right, I should also open up this and start looking here. Um, and I that's like part of the grind as it comes to it. But for someone like you, um, who you really started streaming, I would say in a much more consistent basis over the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
You had streamed before, and you definitely had consistency at times. But I think you'd always strived, and you had said this to me before, that you want to be more consistent, which I think is the number one thing for anyone who wants to stream. It's not about how long you stream. It's not about what you stream. It's about being consistent, letting people know where you are,
Yeah.
when you are. Um, and I think since you came here, you kind of found that home. And again, you found this community that really appreciates what you do and appreciates the work that you do. You've made some really strong friends over here who have pushed you and encouraged you to take that next step. And I mean, it's showing for itself what you've been doing over the last couple months. You've kind of been a leader in kind of building this community up and trying to encourage people to make the switch or even to just try it. There's no shame in trying something new. Again, if it's not for you, it's not for you, but at least it's an opportunity that you can get. Uh, so that's I think what's important for people to know is like if you're new to streaming, choose what platform's best for you. In the end, your content is your content. It doesn't really matter where you stream it. There are two
Yeah.
communities. There's some people who are in both communities, but it's about finding what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah. And there are some that do, like, I know a few girls on the platform, like BB Jess, for instance. She's a sensation on both platforms. But she does, or she has a schedule of certain days she's on Twitch, other days she was on Kick. And there's another streamer whose name I cannot, I think it's Tia or Twisted Tia. And she actually she's really cool. We've talked on Twitter. We have we put on Meet and like in Loot Fest and stuff like that. But she had it for a while where she was doing both platforms as well, but I think she stopped actually. And that comes from like a multiple of reasons. I don't know for certain, so I don't want to speak on her reasons, but um I think the hardest thing for me of finding the consistency was trying to, at one point, I felt like I was getting burnt out, like, and not so much burnt out that I didn't enjoy streaming, burnt out in the sense that, like, I couldn't figure out what content I wanted to put out there. I wasn't really having fun with it. You know what I mean? I just felt like it was the same thing every day. It was stale, it was stagnant. I wasn't going anywhere with it. And I was like, what am I doing right now? You know? And I spoke about this before. I've said it several times. I give credit to some friends that I've made. Amaze is one of the people, and he's a rapper on Kick. He's a first class partner, and he made a comment about, if you're wanting to make something of this, you expect your community to go ahead, gift subs or whatever, right? That's how you can go ahead and make a living off of this, is if people are gifting you subs. Well, in order for them to give you subs, what are you giving them in return that deems worthy of these subs? Like, what are you bringing to the table? And I sat there for a good like a night or two, and I think it was like literally a night because he did it on a Thursday with an interview. with his show that he does, The Amazing Table. And I sat there for a second. I was like, dude, I was like, I have a fucking idea. I was like, this is it. And I messaged Troa, my mod, and I was like, hear me out. I go, Wellness Check Wednesdays. And he is like, I like this. Keep going. And so I told him, I planned it out for him. I was like, I'm a big advocate for men's mental health. I'm a big advocate for mental health in general. I'm not afraid to talk about, the nitty gritty or like things that people don't really want to talk about, the uncomfortable conversations. I was like, and we've been wanting to lean more into just chatting scenes for me because we realize that that is something that I have an asset and a skill in. And so I was telling Troa this, and Troa's like, I like this. I said, but here's the thing is that no matter how much of an advocate I am for men's mental health, you are always going to understand it better than I am. You always will. And I'm talking to you at this point, Gnome. You are always going to understand it better than I am. Why? Because you are a man. I am not. I am not going to understand how a man feels. And so I told Troa, I was like, I need a male counterpart to host this with me on Wednesdays. I was like, I need this. And I was like, Tubbsy. And so we started that. And since we've been doing that, I'm like, this has been an amazing, like, we were featured on the front page a few times. I've had Kick staff reach out to me about it. I've had another Kick staff member actually email me about like my streaming story, how I got started, and more about the Wellness Check Wednesdays and stuff like that, because this is something that you find on Kick, right? This is a special that I started with Tubbsy, and we stream it only on Kick. This is like a Kick special, and that was something that kind of just encouraged me, like brought that spark back again, where I was like, it's easier to find the consistency of it because we're keeping to this. We're keeping our word to each other. We're keeping our word to our viewers, our communities. It's Wednesday. You know where to find us. We're right here. And so that's really helped me with the consistency. That, and then obviously Sundays. So it's been trying to find what I'm bringing here, other than like, don't get me wrong, I still have bullshit streams. We still hang out. We still sit here. We'll play stupid games. I've been hooked on Phasmophobia lately, of all games to play, a scary game. I still do that stuff. It's just that's not my main thing anymore. I really just come on just to talk to everybody while I'm playing some video games, and Wednesdays and Sundays are like the days that I clock in,
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's you've made your content about you, which is I think a really important thing and something that people sometimes will struggle with. Like obviously there are people who are really good at games, right? World-class type
Not me.
players who are going to get viewers because people just simply want to watch someone who's really good at a game, right? But then there's other people who make the content about themselves. Both you and Brad or Craw have been able to do that really effectively. Now, while Craw might do it by playing games, respectfully, very few people are actually there to watch him play the game.
No,
They're there for who he was.
I'm not there to watch Craw play. I'm not there to watch you play it. I'm not there to watch Tubbsy play it. I'm not there to watch Demonic play it. I'm sorry to burst your bubbles. I am not in your streams to watch you play that godforsaken fucking game. I'm not. Fuck that game. In the fiery pits of hell, I hate that game. I'm not there for it.
I don't think any of us are actually there to play the game either. We're on these platforms to be who we are and interact with our community, and we just happen to have to do something while we're doing it.
I don't know. Demonic says he's retiring from streaming after that comment.
No. Yeah. Demonic's good eye candy, so that's why we keep him on there.
That's what it is. It's the Bieber swoop. That's what does it.
Yeah, I mean that's what's important, and like that's what a lot of content creators sometimes, especially young content creators, struggle with. And when I'm talking young, I literally mean age-wise young.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who watch within our communities that are under the age of 18.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use this term somewhat loosely, but idolize who content creators are.
They do.
Want to be like them. Want to interact with them.
And I know of one viewer that is in all of our streams, even mine, for certain, the first thought that came to mind. And I know he feels that way about a lot of us. he's told me several times he looks at me like an older sister, like a mother figure. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well now that you said that, you can't ever cuss in front of me ever again. I was like, never.
Yeah. And also what it comes down to is like, as I said, I'm a teacher, a high school teacher. Um, I see high school kids in a variety of ways. I see who they are as students, but I also will get to see them who they are as people. And
Mm-hmm.
they'll talk about like sometimes content creators that are influential to them. Granted, sometimes they're on a bigger scale. Uh, but even if you can be like an inspiration or motivation for like one person,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing the world a service. You're giving them an opportunity to learn and to find someone who that they trust and they can care about. And it helps them grow as a person, especially if you are a genuine um, person and you mean to spread well. You mean to like help people become the best versions of themselves. That's what you can do.
Yeah.
Now, some people make mistakes, but being able to help them understand and recognize those mistakes and giving them an opportunity to grow is a really important thing. And if it creates another content streamer, who knows? You could create the next like Nick Merckx or something.
Yeah. You
Like
never
you can
know.
motivate someone to try something new, and they might be very good at it.
Yeah.
Um, and also like the viewer count is another thing. People like I streamed to one person for 6 hours. It's like, yeah, you stream to one person for 6 hours, but you are 6 hours more experienced at streaming.
Yeah.
Um, this morning I spent the first hour of my stream playing MLB with. There were people in my stream, but nobody was chatting.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was just streaming. I was playing the game. That's what I do. And if no one comes to talk to me, I'm just playing the game. I
I
would
mean,
play the game
that's
regardless. So,
yeah, that's how I mean, sometimes I'll have it where I'll have like 50 people in here and like I have like maybe six people chatting and sometimes I'll have like I mean, we had it an interview with Andrew, we had like 100 plus almost like 200 people at one point and we had like maybe 30 people chatting, you know. I have learned some best advice was like I stopped looking at the viewer count. I do check my numbers regularly, like after stream, because I'm pushing for verification, right? So there's certain things I have to hit. But during the stream, I try not to watch it or look at it. And so I'll have sometimes my mods will text me and be like, "Have you checked this? Have you checked that? Look at this." And then I'm like, "No, I haven't," because I'm not. It just because I know if it's low, then my mood is gonna change because I'm be disappointed because I know that my average dropped. And I know that if it's high, I'm gonna freak out and then continuously focus on my average until I hit the requirement. And either way, I'm not bringing my 110%. You know what I mean? So I stopped watching that viewer count. That was me on Twitch though. Is that I think the most that I ever had as an average was like 13.
mhm.
I think that was like the most average. And I say that like now because my average now is like 35 has been it just increased over the last few streams. Like that's been my average, which is insane to me because I came from Twitch where it was like, 2 to 5 people maximum. I was gonna say, oh, I had a question on the tip of my tongue too, but I don't know. Continue what you were
Yeah, I
saying
mean,
though, and then I'll remember
with
that.
yeah, like with viewer count, I look at my count every now and then, but it's really nothing that like I prioritize.
Yeah.
I've reached a point where I feel really comfortable just streaming. And
Yeah.
again, it's content creation for me. Um, again, I really enjoy playing video games, and I'm gonna play video games regardless.
Yeah.
But I also enjoy streaming and interacting with people. I like talking. That I'm a very chatty person. Um, so if I have the opportunity to talk and share that with people, and again, whether it's one person watching or 100 people watching, like it's not really gonna change what I'm doing. Like I'm
Yeah.
still being who I am.
I will
And yeah,
say
again, going.
I was gonna say one of my favorite things about the way that you stream or when you play video games is that you never have a dull moment. You don't like you're constantly keeping a conversation, whether you're talking to yourself or you're talking in chat or you're talking to the guy who's batting or pitching or in the out whatever it is. I don't even
Mm,
fuck that game. But you're
mm,
constantly chatting and you're such an entertaining streamer to watch that I actually will pull you up on my TV because my youngest loves watching your streams. And
Yes,
we've
mornings with Gnome were the play.
Yeah, that was the thing, especially over the summer. Like every morning, Gnome went live. Me and Stevie, we'd go upstairs, we put it on the big TV. I actually told him that you were my guest this week, and he was so upset because he's not here tonight. He's at his dad's, and he was so mad. Like
Well, he'll
I
get
forgot to
to
tell you that
watch it at
earlier.
some point. So
He was so mad at me. He's like, "You have Novi on?" I was like, "Yeah, he's coming on this weekend," and he's like, "Well, that's not gonna work." And I was like, what do you want me to do, man? I
could
can't
have pushed me back
cancel
2
it.
weeks or something, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but
But
no,
yeah.
again, yeah, like I love the morning slot. I like waking up and going straight to stream. Um, it's like a really like I don't know. It starts my day in a good way. I don't mind streaming the afternoon and night. Night is tough for me because I get tired.
Yeah.
Um, and like I don't want to drink an energy drink or coffee at night because then I won't sleep. So like then I start to fade, and I definitely like I'll be playing the game and I'll start to get a little tired playing the game, and I'll start to like sit here and be like kind of doing this, maybe chatting with someone, but not the same energy. I like the daylight, kind of brightens the room, brightens
Yeah.
up what's going on.
Let me ask
But
you
yeah,
this then, as you know, and we'll kind of this like perfect segue opportunity here. So something else that we have in common is that we both work full time, right? And my full time is a little bit different than yours, but you are a 10th grade US history teacher, correct?
indeed,
On
indeed.
top of doing that full time though, so you're working at least 9 months out of the year, like more like 10, right?
Yeah, I mean, I work September to basically end of June, so yeah, 10.
Yeah, so 10 months out of the year you're working throughout the week, Monday through Friday, and that's not including the extra shit that you're doing after your normal hours because you already said to me after we're done with this, you got to plan out your lessons.
Yeah.
So you're still technically working, right?
Hmm.
And then on top of that, though, Gnome, we're also both students ourselves. I'm going in for my bachelor's degree, and you are currently in for
Go for my master's in
your
history.
master's. So, what do you find is like the most challenging aspect of all that, of trying to balance stuff? Like, what is the most challenging for you of juggling these many different hats? Because you're a husband, you're a teacher, you're a student, and you're a content creator. How do you do it?
I mean, outside of the pure factor of time, um,
Go fucking
I think
joke.
yeah, it's time, energy, right? Those are the
Yeah.
first two, and I think those come without saying. Um, but then it's also like making sure that there is a balance. And I'll admit, like at times I'll prioritize sometimes the wrong things, and it will set me back on certain things. Like I haven't focused a ton on my thesis recently. But again, we just had like midterm, so I had to make the midterm. I had to grade all the midterms, and then tomorrow we have like semester one grades that are due. So I have to go through the
Hmm.
process of making sure all those grades are finalized. So there's a lot that goes into that, and then finding the time to also work on a thesis after teaching all day is not always the most ideal. So as we move forward, hopefully I'll be able to find more time for working on the thesis, and not have to focus so much on grades and getting things done for a deadline at school. Um,
Your thesis
but
was
yeah, I
just
mean,
recently approved too, wasn't it? Like you said something
yeah. So
about
my
that.
thesis is on baseball, and the like food that surrounds it. So focusing on hot dog, peanuts, and bubble gum as one section, and then obviously beer, and
Yeah.
kind of the significant role that they've all played and how they all became staples in American culture through baseball, right? Like baseball being that kind of bridge with American culture. You think of America, you think of hot dogs, beer, right? You think of baseball, peanuts,
Hmm.
bubble gum, all these things with like baseball cards and stuff. So it's kind of a complex topic, but showing how all these things kind of contributed with one another to become staples in American culture is ultimately what the thesis is about. But yeah, time is the big one, and sometimes it comes down to motivation to do one or the other. I think it's really easy like to come home and just want to like go to sleep and not do anything and just like shut down.
Hmm.
But I need streaming as a break. as well it's like doing something and it is energy consuming,
Oh,
it
sorry.
is like a mental break for me. When I'm streaming, I don't think about my thesis, I don't think about my lesson plan, I don't think about my grades, right? I can just stream. But then when I like have when I if I you'll see sometimes when I stream I think about that stuff. And then it's like I'll start to be like, damn, like should I really be on right now? I should be doing this. I should be, like, and I'll start
Mm-hmm.
to like kind of like almost stress myself out. So I try to like not think about that as much as possible. But every now and then I'll check my phone and I'll get like an email about something. And I'm like, I need to go like do that and deal with that type of thing. Um, but
Yeah.
I have like the most supportive wife. She's so like supportive in everything that I'm doing. She edits every single paper I write. And I would
Aw.
not be anywhere close to where I am without what she does for me. She also works at the school with me, so we have similar struggles with the school with the kids as it goes. This is our first year working together, so we can
How's
complain
that
about the same
been?
things. It's been great. At school, I mean, we see each other a couple times a day. Um, we teach generally when the other person has a prep, so we only have like I actually don't think this semester we have any preps that are mutually together.
Mm-hmm.
But we see each other throughout the day. The kids know. The kids had I guess, a bit of a fun time initially, learning that we were married and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
when we have issues that are going on at the school, we can kind of brainstorm together to figure out what is the best solution. Like, how can we do this? Like, we have issues. Like, hey, what are you doing about this? We used to be at different schools and complain about different things, and they wouldn't always line up. But now they line up together, so that's nice. But yeah, no, it's fun working together. It's really nice to be able to be on the exact same schedule. So like, if we have break together. Like, if we have to, yeah, go somewhere after work, like, we're right there. We don't have to like meet up with each other. So it's nice in that regard. And yeah, I mean, it's just fun not driving 40 minutes to work every day. I only drive 5 minutes now, so that's a
Yeah,
big plus
I
for me.
knew I knew that was one of the benefits of when you were going to be starting the new at the new school. I remember you mentioning how it was going to be significantly better when it comes to travel time. So I guess that's been a huge bonus for you. You don't have to get up like extra early now. You just have to get up
Well,
just
I mean, I still get
barely.
up at 5:15, get in at work at 6:30. Don't have kids till 8. Um, I'm an early morning person, which is why I like
5:15 is
streaming
so
in the morning.
gross.
Which
That
is
is
why
so
working in the
gross.
morning. I know. I mean, my alarm
That
goes off
is
at 5:15. I don't actually get up until
dumb.
5:45,
Oh my
like 6, but
god.
like I need that time. If I got to school, my wife gets to school at like 7:30 or like 7:45 sometimes. And then if I'd see kids within half an hour of arriving at the school, I mean, I probably wouldn't be here today. Probably be behind some bars somewhere after throwing a kid out a window or something. I need some mental prep time before I deal with children in the morning. Um, but yeah, no. Also, there's something really unique about being in a school when
Yeah.
it's like all quiet, no one's there, before the chaos of the day kind of unveils itself. And
Yeah.
that's when I do my best work in terms of like getting my materials prepared for the day, and it helps me to have a consistent schedule of get to work, have X amount of time to do whatever it is I want. Sometimes I'll sit there and, watch some things on my phone for 10 minutes, just like slowly waking myself up. That way, come school time, I'm good to go.
Yeah. So, I sorry, Jelly had followed and I saw it pop up in the chat and so I was I get easily distracted. The more I do these podcasts, the more I realize I'm easily distracted when it comes to interviews. And I realize I'm way too comfortable with people that I already know, and so I'm not like staying on top with it as I do with people that I don't know. So I got like all these big compliments from interviewing Andrew, and the very next one it's like me and a friend, and then now it's me and a friend again, and so I'm just like, oh guys, I'm disappointing you. I'm so sorry.
No, I mean that happens with chatters, right? Like someone
Yeah,
new comes in the stream, but you're already chatting with like three people that are there like all the time. You want
yeah,
to kind of give them their opportunity, um,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
and
But
allow them to feed off it.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you, Jelly, for the follow. I appreciate it, and welcome on in, Muffin. How are we doing tonight? Um, so what are your plans for streaming? And obviously, it's keeping up this balance. I know you're trying to find the energy and the time for the consistency of it throughout the school year because that's difficult for you, as we've already mentioned. Summer is way easier. Um, are we to expect more of the biking streams? Are you going to incorporate some other type of workout streams, or is it strictly just biking streams that you're on?
Yeah, so I mean, right now the plan is Mondays and Wednesdays, around 4:30, to do the bike streams. Those will generally be shorter streams, somewhere between like one to, I mean, as we go, maybe 2 hours. If I want to do a longer ride, I would probably reserve that for a Saturday or Sunday morning. But during the school year, usually it's the weekends that are easier for me to sit down, stream. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
then during the summer, it all really kind of depends what's going on, but I'll try to get 3 to 4 days a week. Of streaming on a consistent schedule. It's a pretty good balance for me. It allows me to be live for, 12 to 15 hours, while also being able to have time to do work.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer, I guess the fortunate thing is I don't have to go into the building while there's still work to be done. It's not quite as time consuming. A lot of it is prep for the next year, kind of making sure you have everything planned and set in place. But I don't have to deal with kids, don't have to go in. So there is that extra time I have, um, but it's also a good time to rest and recover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday night and Sunday morning has been kind of consistent for me for the last year and a half. Um, I've only missed a handful of Sunday streams generally when I'm away out of the house. Like next Sunday, I'll be away going up to Maine to do some skiing with some friends. But yeah, usually Sunday mornings, it's kind of my consistent thing. Throughout the football season, we do our Sunday picks. I have a bunch of different people come on. We pick some games of the week that we like, share them with the people, let them follow along with our successes and our failures. But it's a good way to get people involved in the community. I love having people on, so every time I'm streaming, if people want to play with me, I'm almost
Yeah.
always game for that. Um,
I
I
do have
never
to
see streaming
say,
as a solo thing.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I have disclosed this confession to a few of our friends. I have some resentment towards you, Nomi.
Mhm, mhm.
I
A
do.
lot of
And
it. Yeah.
I want you to hear me out before you jump to any conclusions or, shame me in any way. I want you to just really hear me out, okay? There is a specific game, okay? One that I loathe that I was persuaded by you especially and Craw and Demonic and Tubsy
Mhm,
to go ahead and download.
mhm,
And
mhm,
if I downloaded this game, then I would get some what is called co-op in,
mhm,
which is multiplayer. For everybody who doesn't
mhm,
know, it's a multiplayer um, gameplay of this game called MLB The Show. And I downloaded this game and I played by myself for a total of 6 hours, not consecutively. It was in bits and pieces. Um, and I actually got onto the console one morning because I was in your stream and you said, Sin, if you're available, hop on, we'll get you in. And I waited and I waited and I waited some more. And then just magically happened that your stream crashed.
I remember that.
And then you never got back online. And not once have you ever asked me again to play this game that I downloaded for you guys. None of you have asked me to play this game again since you convinced me to download it. And the whole reason to download it was to get a co op game, and I haven't gotten one yet. And
Yeah, I mean,
so,
we'll definitely get you a co-op game, but I think really what it came down to was, between the three of us and more, looking out for you and your best interests, is what we want. And to be able to put someone through the sort of pain and torture it takes to play through 9 innings of MLB The Show 23 is really not something that we found to be a really good experience for you to learn. I really
I'm not
think
buying
that
this.
it ultimately came down to us wanting to protect you
I'm
and
not
keep
buying this at
you
all.
safe from the unknowns.
I think this
No,
is
I
some
remember my stream
bullshit.
crashing that time. But yeah, I mean, I'm always down to play. You might have to harass me about it, schedule a time. But like, if I'm live, you just come in, you say we'll play, and then we'll play. I remember when my stream crashed that day. That was either no, that wasn't the day we had the tornado coming through. Um, that was a different stream. I was live on a Sunday morning, and
No,
my
I'm
wife
pretty
comes
sure
into the
that was
room.
it actually.
Was it the tornado
I
one?
think it
Because I
was a
did lose
tornado one
power.
because you lost power, or it might have been the
Um,
same thing, like the same week or something like that. Um, but it was that like it was that time frame right there is what because it
hmm.
was a bunch of tornadoes going through, and yeah, I didn't get a. I called out for help twice and got not
Yeah,
a
for
hey
that
you
I
or
deeply
fuck you. What do you
apologize, but
need? Nothing.
we'll get it at some point. But now at this point, you've reached a new high, um, where we don't now MLB might actually be toxic to your growth. We don't want to put you in a situation where you're gonna actually
People
need
are
someone
here
else to
for
run
me. They're
Wellness
here for
Check
me.
Wednesday.
That's what Demonic actually just
Yeah, okay.
posted. He goes, "We don't want Sin to play MLB because she would become a topic on the Wellness Check Wednesday."
Yeah, it's a bad habit, bad addiction. A lot of us have. Um,
I
but
found it funny. I just sat here and I caved. And you know what? Do you want to know the funniest part about it all? No,
hmm.
I did it again with clubs. I did. I downloaded clubs. I bought it for $20. I
We're
downloaded
always
it.
playing clubs. That one I don't know. I have no excuse for that
Uh-huh.
one.
That one. Well, I'm telling you right now, I have it downloaded, and I promise you, if I do not get an invite to play that stupid game, I am going to create a burn book, and all of your pictures are going in it.
Yeah, you would just get like insert the Ryan from The Office meme. He just got added to the list.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
know,
do
after
that,
he gets called by David. Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, that sounds about right.
then I'm gonna start a Twitter space about all of you to cancel
Mhm.
you. And then I'm gonna actually pin it against the Twitch community and just talk about how toxic Twitch is compared to Kick,
And
and say
start.
how
I'll
Kick would
basically
never do
ultimately
this to
start a
me.
war between Kick and Twitch.
I mean, it's already been started. It's been
Yeah, but
started.
it's
Yeah.
a bunch of
Good
it's
thing you're
petty
not an
drama. I
English
think
teacher.
ultimately, so it been did started.
It been did started. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you should see some of the essays and papers I've had to
I
read.
can only freaking imagine, honestly.
Um, it's not good. It's concerning, actually. I think for the future of this country. Um,
What has been one of your favorite memories so far as being a teacher this year?
this year specifically,
This
or
year
like overall?
specifically, has something happened this year? And if not this year, I'll let you go overall.
I mean, this year, nothing I mean, every year the students are unique, and I think that's part of what like makes the job so much fun is getting to meet the students and learn who they are. But I think, yeah, I guess the most unique situation that's happened this year was probably from the midterm and the past tests. This is the first year my school is requiring me to make tests, and so I've been putting different people from the community on the tests as answers.
Hmm.
I put both Craw and Demonic on as answers, and they both got selected by different students at different points
That's cool.
for doing things. I think Demonic's was about packing the courts, which was something Franklin Roosevelt did during the New Deal. He wanted to add 6 more Supreme Court justices to get all his New Deal programs constitutionalized and made them in line with the
Holy
Constitution.
shit, you just like triggered a core memory for me. Why do I remember New Deal?
Because
That's
the New Deal
so
is what saved
weird.
us from the Great Depression. I mean, it's maybe arguably one of the most famous economic policies put in place around the world.
That is so
Um,
crazy. I
and
know, I
then,
haven't taken a history class since high school.
yeah, but I would feel like I think you should know the New Deal regardless if you took history. That should be one of
I
like
bet
the
you right
few
now, if I go
things.
ask Negan, I bet you he doesn't know about it, and he's like he likes history. Well, no, he probably would know because he
No,
likes history shit.
The New Deal, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna text
It's
my dad.
important.
Do you know
If
about
you
New
ask someone
Deal?
in a different country, maybe. Um, because again, it is a U.S. history thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the New Deal is a core part of it. And then I think the question was about um, for Craw was which president dropped or made the decision to drop the atomic bombs. And I put three presidents on as answers, including the right one, Harry Truman. And then I put Craw's name, his government name. I won't say it now. I think he shared it, but regardless,
Oh my God. And they picked his government
they
name for
picked
that
his name. And
answer?
my question went to be, if you don't know the question, at least pick one of the presidents that's listed.
I
Because it
can't
says which
believe
president.
that.
Actually, two kids selected his. Demonic only got one selection. Um, so yeah, I mean,
Oh
I'll be
my
incorporating
gosh.
other people's names. If you want your name in there, we can get it done. Um, I
I feel
put
like
Shauna's name in, but
my name would stand out too much. They'd be like, this doesn't make any sense.
maybe what ethnic background is your last
German.
name?
Norwegian.
Mm,
No, maybe it's Norwegian. I think it's German.
I don't know if you've shared it on Kick before. I'm not gonna make it out
No.
yourself, but
I mean, people who have donated to me or like have gotten to know me, they know my last
yeah,
name, but like
for
I
sure.
don't know everybody who's in here right now, so
Yeah,
yeah,
like my
just in
last name, like
case.
it's Italian, like but they know my last name. I can't put my name on there.
Yeah.
So I have to find other people. And again, I'm usually thinking of these to be as like, hey, this is a giveaway type of thing. Um I'm not expecting you to select this answer. This should be like the free giveaway. But kids still select it, so that's it. But that's this year. I mean, again, overall, I think the best thing for me is the relationships with kids. I pride myself on being able to formulate good, healthy relationships with them as
Yeah.
like a mentor. Um, but at times is also trying to be someone that they can feel really like they can trust and ask me things, talk to me about things. As I said to you pre-stream, I'm very open about who I am and the
Mhm.
mistakes I've made in my past to help others try to not make those same mistakes. Um,
There
I
was
haven't
something
committed any
you said
major
actually.
felonies, so I'm doing a good job so far. But
Yeah, that's
what?
plus side. There was something you actually mentioned before we went live, and you were talking about when you are kind of vulnerable with your students and you let them know that you had a past of being what was deemed like a bad student, and comparing it to how you are now. If you want to, you could say, I want you to say that again though, so stream can hear it this time, because that was actually really really cool, like from like an outsider looking in kind of perspective.
Yeah, so I got suspended 12 times throughout my schooling career. Majority of them happened in middle school. I think I had one in high school. But going through school, I had a lot of teachers that kind of like looked down on me and kind of saw me as like he's going to be a troublemaker, like he's going to be kind of a bad kid. And at times I definitely was like a troublemaker. I was kind of almost like this class clown sometimes in a way. Um but I made mistakes and I like looking back on it, I think I feel really bad about how I definitely made some of my teachers' lives a lot harder, especially now being a teacher and understanding like when a kid is doing X, Y, and Z to disrupt the class, it makes your ability to get through what you need to do so much harder. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so like if I ever get to see my some of my high school teachers again, I'll definitely give them an apology. But I grew up. I ended up finding rugby my freshman year of high school, and that really gave me a stable outlet for my energy. I've always had ADHD, so sitting still and kind of
Mm-hmm.
keeping my thoughts to myself wasn't always the easiest thing. As you know, I'm a pretty vocal person, so I do like to say things and I like to speak out. Um, and so that was something that hurt me at times, but I grew up and I like to share that with kids that like, hey, you can get suspended, you can make mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The suspension doesn't make you a bad person, but you have to be able to like learn and build off of those. And at some point, you need to start making the adjustment because if you do some of these things in the real world, the suspension is you're getting arrested. It's not like
Yeah.
you're not coming to school for a day. Um, and a lot of our kids that we have now, they have family members, they have brothers and sisters that have been in situations that have gotten them in a lot of trouble, and I think they've recognized that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but still, I have some kids that I look at them and I go, look, if you do this at a job, you're gone. Like, I don't care if you're really good at the job, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Your employer will not handle this. If you show up late 5 minutes every single day to your job, your employer is not going to take that well. So you got to start using class time as an opportunity to kind of treat it as a professional duty of yours. I know you're not getting paid, but when you're in school as a high school student, this is your full-time job. This is what your commitment needs to be to. It needs to be to your work, and it needs to be to your attendance and showing up and being there. I heard this quote the other day that going to college um, isn't necessarily about the degree you get. It's about showing an employer that for 4 years you could show up somewhere on time, perform tasks to a certain standard so that they can somewhat trust you with their business, with their life, right?
Oh, wow.
So, like, yeah, you get a degree, it does something for you, but going to even high school at the same standard of like, hey, you showed up for 4 years, you got 80% or 70% B's, C's, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the standard of the work you were doing, right? An employer will look at that and be like, all right, they at least show up. Their attendance
Hi,
wasn't
Rita.
terrible, right? And so it's about building upon that. And so,
I like that. That's actually a new way to look at that too. I've been struggling with actually. I kind of confided in everybody. I told them how I haven't logged into my classes in it was almost 14 days of inactivity. I finally posted something last night. Had I not posted something last night, I would have been withdrawn from the program today, and I would have had to restart all over, get my bachelor's degree. So all the hard work that I put in for the last like 4 to 6 months would just go completely fucking out the window. Um, and I was really close to actually giving up because I was just, dude, I don't want to fucking do it anymore. It's just so much to juggle. But then the other part of me was like, you know what? No, because though I know how to do this stuff, there's still some stuff that I can learn. And I'm already here, and it takes the minimal effort to get back into it and to get back into the swing of things. And I'm gonna do another assignment tonight, and I get back into it. Um, but yeah, dude, it was really it was really tough. It was really really tough. To kind of just once you fall off the path, it's so easy to just continue going off the path. And is so much more difficult to get yourself back onto it. But the reward of getting yourself back on the path is like it's yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in a similar situation with my thesis, right? Like, at this point, all I have to do is write the thesis, defend it, and then I have my master's. But the motivation right now has been low in terms of like actually working on it.
Yeah. Are you still gonna
So I
reach
got to
out
get
to my
back into that
dad?
rhythm. I am, but like it's once I get to the point of like getting back into the research of it,
Yeah.
I want to be able to have organized questions. So I'm doing a lot of research through documents, looking at records and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, so that way I can then start to branch out. I have a couple people that professors and other people who are in the field about
Yeah.
asking them questions as well. So
I was
it's
gonna say
developing.
if you need more, like in depth, like on hand or first hand experience of like
Mhm.
being actually in, the MLB. There's also my uncle, his brother-in-law, my godfather. Um, he was a pitcher for many years, and then once he was done pitching, he became a pitching coach for many years. And I think he finally retired like this past year.
Yeah, once people get in baseball, it's hard to get them out. I'll tell you that
Yeah, and
much.
then with that, we have a lot. I just learned recently that a guy that I've known my whole life as Uncle Rooster, used to be one of the coaches for the Angels. Had
That's
no
sick.
idea. Had no idea. Yeah, you can also ask Blake Thomas, according
Yeah,
to
I think
Demonic.
he's really been a key part of our community to really he's brought our community closer
And yeah,
together
does he even know
than
how
anyone
close
can
that
even
we've
imagine.
gotten like so close?
No, because
Like
he
half of
banned
us
us
are
all,
banned.
and someone was once in the hospital, and they were bringing that negative energy in there, and he just couldn't have that. If you're gonna be bringing negative energy into my stream because you're going through a tough time, you expect me to try to help you? Like, come on, what
Yeah.
do you think this is? You know?
I think he's also I think he's against like men because like I lurked in his channel and he thanked me for the lurk actually.
Hmm,
I
hmm.
did it, out of the jokes and the memes. Um, I did it just to see what the reaction would be, in reference to Kraw's song that he made, which also I don't know if you've been around Kick, but right now doing diss tracks and songs is just not the way to go unless you want to go ahead and get in a heaping pile of bullshit. So
Mm-hmm,
I would
hmm.
recommend to stay away from that right now. Um, but it's nice to see that on Twitch we can still appreciate those things.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean, definitely. I mean, sometimes the worst in people bring communities closer together, make people see the true change that needs to happen. That's a world history type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can figure out a couple situations that's happened, but um, we're in a very critical time in our world's history, right? A lot of decisions have to be made, and I think ultimately it's going to come down to how people work and treat each other. That will ultimately find us in our most successful state. So
Yeah. Well, I think that pretty much sums up my questions. No, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I love that we were able to catch up. I feel like we haven't actually talked to each other in fucking ages. It feels like
I know it's been
it's
a
like
minute.
it's like as soon as like school picked up for you, and then school picked up for me with taking the kids to school.
Yeah,
It's just been like there's just no time to be friends at all.
we'll get some time again soon. We'll get, especially when the summer rolls around,
Yeah,
get
yeah,
back
yeah,
onto a
sure, sure,
schedule.
sure, sure,
But
sure, sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
different schedules. Late at night for you,
yeah.
early
Promise me
mornings for
clubs, and
me.
it's not gonna happen. Promise me
No,
co-op. It's the
clubs will
same
happen,
thing.
but
It's the
you're
same
gonna
thing.
have to you're gonna have to deal with Tubbsy hitting the crossbar every time he takes a
Yeah,
shot,
yeah.
and us not scoring any goals because he's a greedy little guy.
Well, I'm
Um,
gonna have you plug your socials in, but before I do, I was gonna ask you, did you have any yes, Hashi, I did buy FC. I did.
this is the first time hearing it respectfully.
Yeah,
I
well,
did
I
not use
I
that
bought it
FC.
Wednesday night actually when I was
Okay, all right.
doing
So
the
that
check
so
with
don't be
Pepsi.
giving me. All right, yeah. So don't be
Yeah,
giving me this like we haven't invited you. I haven't
okay.
played since Wednesday with
I
Tubbsy.
bought MLB before my first stream on Kick, but go off, sis.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I definitely that's definitely on me. I'll take the MLB one
Okay, thank
fully.
you. Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
because I
Did
know Craw and Demonic ain't gonna take any of that blame.
no, they won't. Did you have any questions for me about the experience on Kick, about the community, about um really just anything? Did you have any questions for me?
I mean, couple questions, couple comments. I think the first comment I would be is like, I think something that I really pride myself on, and I see a lot in you, is while we both want to grow and we both want to be successful in our own streaming minds,
Hmm.
um, we both want to see success within the community and within
Oh
our
yeah.
friends.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I think it's not a lot of people recognize that as an important job. It's like being a streamer is obviously you're making content, but if you don't support those around you and you don't help the content within the community get better,
Hmm.
it ultimately is going to hurt you in the long run. I think what you've been doing, especially with these Sundays, what you've been doing with Wellness Check Wednesday, it is giving people that opportunity to get better,
Yeah.
whether that's mental health wise, whether on these Sundays listening to someone who's been streaming or someone who's a big part of the Kick community tell about their experience. And then people say, all right, so it's not just like this. It's like I also got to do these things. It's like here's how they sound, here's how they present themselves. And so I think that's a really important thing. One of my goals that I've been kind of working on for the last couple of years is like, and it's become less and less now, which I kind of fault myself on the time for. But over the last 2 years, I spent numerous hours helping people set up their streams, whether that's sitting with them in a Discord call, going through all the OBS settings, like making sure they have it all set up, um, making sure people have their audio set up so that they can play music and it not appear, making sure that people are comfortable with what the environment is, because I think that's a really important thing. It's not just putting a camera, it's not just turning on a game and starting. It's making
Hmm.
sure you feel genuinely comfortable in your space. The setup works for you. Um,
Yeah.
and making sure that your quality is good, because while people aren't necessarily going to like say hey your stream shit, because like people aren't all assholes, um people will just stop watching, and then you'll be like, why am I never
Yeah.
gaining traction? It's because you're playing with no face cam and people really can't connect to you as a person yet,
Yeah.
right? Once
I
they see your
owe
face they can be like, oh, now I start to know who this person is.
I
and I
owe
start to.
a lot of that to Troa because for the longest time I had like really bad like audio quality and like when I would yell into my mic because I'm a loud person, I had to like edit a lot of things with the mic and stuff. And Troa actually has spent countless hours in Discord with me, drawing out like Pictionary step by steps on like how to place my mic, how to angle it, what filters to use, how to get the pop filter on, like all of it. Um, but I think that also like it's definitely him helping me and it's also me showing the initiative like, hey, I want to fucking change this and improve my quality of what I'm doing here. Like I need to, the desire to want to be better was there. Yeah. But that's I do really appreciate you making that comment because that is definitely something I take pride in is that when I make a friend, like I am a friend, like 150%. You know what I mean? And I definitely want my friends to be just as successful, if not more successful. I feel like when my friends are winning, we're all winning. It's so cool to see, and I love it. And I think, some people when they first meet me, they think that it's all kind of like a facade. But then when a lot of people met me, like in DreamHack, I went to that recently for the convention as a creator, and I did the podcast from DreamHack Atlanta. Um, a lot of people came back and made comments, and they're like, "You are exactly who you said you were," and that was the coolest thing ever to see. Like, because you don't find that a lot. And
Yeah.
I spent a good portion decompressing from after the trip, crying to Negan because I was just like, "People like me." So I do appreciate that. Thank you. I'll probably cry about it later.
Yeah, no, I mean it's important for us to be who we are as human beings because we're not robots, so we are humans and people learn from that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I don't have really a ton of questions for you. I always have questions, I always have comments, but no, I really appreciate being on the show today. Getting to share my story a little bit more about me. As I said, this is kind of the third time I've done one of these, and each time I grow. I have new things that I can share, new
Yeah.
experiences. And again, I'm always open to talking about things in my stream. If people come in and want to talk, I'm always game for that. I'm around in Discord usually while
Yeah.
I'm working and whatnot, so I'm always
Well,
always game to kind of talk things out.
take this opportunity to tell the chat and the listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where can we find you?
Yeah, so I'm Gnomethorian. I'm Gnomethorian everywhere. If you find the name Gnomethorian on a platform, it's me. If it's not me, please contact me and I will remedy that situation immediately. Um, I mainly play on PlayStation and PC a little bit, but yeah, Twitter, Gnomethorian, over on Twitch, YouTube, all Gnomethorian, TikTok, Gnomethorian. That's just who I am. My name originated, probably maybe 15, 16 years ago when I was renaming my RuneScape character. And it just kind of stuck. And it's just kind of been my identity. It will remain to be my identity. I actually respectfully didn't really know or like gnomes prior to making the name, but there was a character named Gunthorian that I really
Mm.
loved in this TV show, and I wanted to be named that, but I couldn't because it was already taken. So I chose Gnomethorian, and I became the king of the gnomes, and that's ultimately where we originated from. My logo that you might see has been adapted to a digital format. So this was the original that was done by a
Oh,
student of mine.
that's so
Um,
cute.
so yeah, so
I
I
didn't know that.
well that I mean the original drawing was done on paper by one student. This was another student that then did a sketch of it. Um, but yeah, I have the original paper in a drawer.
That's so
It's not in
cool.
greatest quality, so I don't want to like keep it out too much. But
No, I
yeah,
understand.
Gnomethorian everywhere. Follow me or don't. It's not going to change what I do. Ultimately, I'll still be grinding and doing what I do every single day, making sure we have a bright future for the youth of America and the youth of the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the goal.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today on episode 21 of Sundays with Sin. I do want to point out that it is the 21st day of January that we are doing episode 21. I thought that was
So you're
super
saying
freaking cool.
Sundays with Sin is now officially legal to drink. I love that.
That is what, excuse me, that is what Troa said when we first started. He said SWS is legal to drink or something like
Hmm.
that at the start of the episode.
Hmm.
But
Finally
yes,
legal.
so cheers to that. You know,
Cheers.
Sundays with Sin is officially legal to drink. Anytime that I've been drinking prior to it, just ignore it. You know, I'm legal to
It was
drink.
all
Just
water. You
the
were hydrating,
and
obviously.
exactly. There's some different cans and bottles, and just ignore it. You know, sometimes I put my water in a Jaeger bottle. Sue me.
Yeah. I think if I'm before I head out, kind of like my one of my slogans I've always lived by in life, and I think applies perfectly to streaming, is success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. And this idea that if you love what you're doing, you'll be successful, because you're gonna be happy, and that's kind of like definitely something young people need to think about when going into a job. Like money is fine, money's great, but money
Mm-hmm.
also like brings other problems along with it. If you can live and support yourself, support your family with a job that you love, you're gonna live the happiest life you can have. If you have to go sit behind a desk and look at numbers on a portfolio of and try to make money that way, and you don't enjoy doing it, and it makes you miserable every single day, you're just not going to be happy. It doesn't matter how much money you make in the end.
Absolutely, I love that. I feel like we have I feel like we've talked about that one before.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that 1,000 times probably.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
I heard
Well,
I heard it on a podcast when I was probably like 14 years old from a RuneScape podcast. It was the last episode of one of the co-hosts before he left to go pursue something else, and that's what he said, and that's stuck with me ever since. So,
that is a game I'm gonna start playing.
I mean,
RuneScape.
you're gonna start. I mean, if you, I will play RuneScape with you. Like, I will dedicate time, and I love that game. I played
I
that game my
don't
entire life.
know. These are empty promises, to be completely honest with
It's a
you.
grind,
And
but
they're empty
it's
promises.
not a game you can just hop on and say like, oh, I'm gonna play. It's a grind. Like it is
I know.
a different
I
level.
know.
So,
I have friends set up to help me with it and everything. I just
all right,
started actually doing GTA RP. I officially went into the
reckless.
yeah, Reckless. I was in Reckless
Yeah,
City.
I need to get on that.
I was in there last night with Shano. He was teaching me the ropes, taking me around. I witnessed a stick up at a burger joint. I witnessed
Yeah,
a gunfight in the parking lot that led into the streets. And yeah, I got free food. So it was a
nice.
W first time in the city. 100%. Yeah.
We love free food. Free food is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Well, I do definitely appreciate you tuning in with us on this week's episode of Sunday to Sin again. And I will be seeing all of you lovely people next Sunday.